Uh, Selamat siang. Uh,
Selamat
Yeah.
siang.
Great to be here. I lived 1 year in Indonesia 20 years ago. That's a long time. So I've been to Indonesia so many times as a professional as well as a tourist. I really like Indonesia. And it's great to be here to share a little bit about myself, my experience, and a bit about my life story. This is not an academic lecture, not a seminar. And I think the most
Yeah.
authentic stories, the most interesting stories, is actually something which really happened. Right? It's not out of a book only. So I will share a little bit how I came to Singapore, how I came to Asia, what happened to me the last a few decades without revealing my age. But I also like to introduce another Indonesian Anggun, who is an Indonesian student
Hai,
studying
betul.
with U.S. college. So
Hi.
something maybe
Hi,
you
Kanggun.
aspire. So and she can share a little bit about her experience. She studies currently with a very unique a liberal arts college from the U.S. And before I talk about my story, I think Anggun, why don't you share about yourself and your story a little bit?
Oke. Beliau tadi menyampaikan bahwa nanti saya punya salah satu siswa namanya Anggun yang akan memulai sebuah cerita bagaimana dia bisa menjadi seorang pelajar di US University. Kepada Kak Anggun, kami persilakan.
Oke.
Halo,
Iya.
um, saya baiknya bahasa Indonesia ya, berarti.
Campur-campur.
Boleh.
Okay, all right. So I think I was trying to speak in Bahasa, but I've not been speaking Bahasa for a while. I think I would just like be super messy. So apologies. I think if I come back home right now in Jakarta for like couple years, not couple years, couple hours, then I'll be speaking Bahasa again. But now just like right out of bed, it's just like super hard. I cannot just come out with any words right now. But yeah, my name is Anggun and I'm studying at this school called Minerva. And then for the past 4 years, I'm now in my senior year, graduating this year. So wish me luck. I've been living in the US and then a couple other countries because we have this global rotation. But I think the most important question is that like, why am I doing this? Like, why did I choose to go abroad? I think one little story is that I was actually studying in Universitas Indonesia, studying international relations. And it was really a big deal because I came from a really humble background. I came from a really remote area, dari desa terpencil dari Blitar. Um, so even like entering UI or like being part of the university, it was amazing already. It was something that um, nor my parents would never think of that I would ever do. I was not dreaming of like speaking in English and so on or living in this global cities. I am currently tuning in from San Francisco, the US. But really, I think like one is that there is no limitation to dream. There is only us that can reach whatever that we want. So I just want to like speak here like to fellow students, those who are still in high school or like middle school, just keep on trying, keep on dreaming. You might not be speaking English. I think that's like number one barrier. We always feel like, oh, I am not confident on my English. How can I dream about living abroad or like going abroad? But it starts with you. I think another little things that when I was in middle school, Facebook was still new. I was just like, I don't think it's safe right now to do, but I was just like trying to like add people from the US and so on and try to like speak to them. Um, but back to my story a tiny bit is that I was studying in OE for a little bit and I learned about this school and I was just moved with the idea that I can when live in these different places to learn how to find the right problem. The idea is that there's a lot of problems out there, a lot of problems to solve, but we really need the tools. Studying is not just about memorizing or like taking the test, but how can we have the tools or like the knowledge to be able to help someone or like to be able to solve a problem. So that's really my motivation to study what I'm studying and then doing what I'm doing. yeah, if there's any specific question, but I think that's it for now that I can share. If there's anything else, like let me know in chat. I'll stay for like another 5 minutes because it's pretty late where I am. But thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeay. Terima
Thank
kasih Kang
you.
Gun. Thank you Kang Gun. Tadi bahasa Inggrisnya keren banget Kang Gun. Your English is so good. Itu keren banget, membuat saya yakin di sini ada siswa dari SMK dan SMA, juga ada university student, juga ada orang tua yang anaknya alhamdulillah di Jakarta Arsy mulai dari SMP sampai SMA. Saya pikir Kang Anggun menjadi contoh model yang tepat untuk kami, khususnya untuk kami yang ingin menyekolahkan anak kami tidak hanya di Indonesia, tetap juga bisa go abroad. Kang Anggun, from me, one question. Apa yang menjadi latar belakang permasalahan siswa di Indonesia merasa ragu, merasa berpikir bahwa dia tidak mungkin bisa keluar sekolah ke luar negeri. Itu yang pertama. Yang kedua, apa kemudian motivasi apa atau semangat apa yang membedakan antara siswa internasional di sana yang bukan di Indonesia dengan siswa Indonesia? Thank you.
Ya, terima kasih pertanyaannya. I think so. Number one, like what is the barrier? Like why people don't apply? I think to apply, even people sometimes don't feel confident about themselves. So one is just like just rock it anyway. If you have the opportunity, if you have the chance, a lot of applications are probably free. There are some US universities that you have to pay, but the US is not the only country. That's number one. But also, I think another important thing is that going abroad is not the entire thing either. If you go to a university abroad, but it's not as good as the one in Indonesia, like what's the point? Because you also like want to learn from a good and reputable university. So one is I think confidence, and confidence is like related to one again, maybe the language ability. But if you never try, if you will never get there. So try to apply, and then you get rejection, try apply again and see what can you learn from it. And then number two, I think a lot of times it's a lot of Indonesians here are from quite privileged family, which I cannot relate to because I am not from even middle class. But something that I always got scholarship since I was even before university is that money should not be the barrier, should not be the obstacle for me to reach whatever that I'm aiming to reach. There's always capital, there's always money somewhere. Maybe it's from the university, it's maybe for someone that can help you. So one is that be proactive, like who can I ask? Where can I get sponsorships? Where can I get scholarships? Um, so yeah, I think those are the two things that why people don't apply, but the two things are also the ones that we can mitigate. And question number two was that what's differentiate between students in Indonesia and students in abroad. I'm not sure if I can speak to everyone, but to me, I was a student in Indonesia, I was a student abroad, and now I think the difference that I've seen for myself is that like number one is independence, for sure, because now that you have to face all of this people, a lot of times you are on your own. There are some Indonesian association abroad, but I am not privileged enough to be like I was the only Indonesians in my entire school for so long. So I was just like trying to be independent and then just like mingle to others. And there are just a lot of different values in life that we cannot see until we go outside of our comfort zone or outside of like our initial identity. And I think something that I want to say is that a lot of times we think, okay, kalau misalnya udah keluar negeri, like how would you identify yourself? Like, would you still love Indonesia? Like, and so on. So I think one thing that I want to share is that you have one identity as when you're small. I have an identity that I was like a little girl from Aceh, from the village, and then I go to Jakarta, for example, and then okay, wow, there's like a lot more people in Jakarta. I have friends from all over Indonesia. I was in boarding school with people from every provinces at the time, and my identity expanded. And now I am living abroad, having friends from all over the world. My identity also expanded. So there are loves that I have for Indonesia. Now I have love for the world too. So yeah, I hope that answered.
Okay, thank you, Kak Anggun.
Thank
Mr. Michael, can I
you.
say something, one sentence from Kak Anggun? From desa to America. That's so
Of
cool.
course.
From the village to United States of America. Untuk bapak-bapak dan ibu semuanya yang mungkin nanti akan bertanya, boleh
Boleh
nanti
chat chat.
setelah Mr. Michael, after Mr. Michael speech, okay? So
Atau bisa
please
lewat
bisa lewat chat.